Hello, BookTube. I saw a couple of videos just now and I had to make a response. In November, Gemma from Nonfic Books and Olive from A Book Olive are going to be doing their second annual Nonfiction November, in which they encourage everyone on BookTube to read more nonfiction or to read some nonfiction if you read none at all. And they make excellent points, which is, to point out the obvious, that BookTube is by and large oriented towards fiction, and that reflects the larger reading public, to say the least. The larger reading public is far more interested in fiction than nonfiction, and they want to stress, and I want to stress too, that those of you who read mostly or only fiction are missing out on a lot. Nonfiction has a lot to offer. It isn't at all what its stereotypes tend to make it, tedious or boring or forbidding. Those of you who've watched this channel for any length of time will know that although I of course have a soft spot for the made-up stories, I love nonfiction intensely. I can't imagine some of the reading that the rest of you do that I watch on your videos, and I love to watch. Some of that reading, only fiction. I just, it's a weird feeling to watch your videos, see how much you're enjoying it, and yet at the same time think, if I had to read that way, I would consider myself under punishment. And the broader wonders of the nonfiction world that have brought me so much pleasure, this is a perfect opportunity for those of you who maybe don't do as much of it as you could, to try a little more. So like Gemma and like Olive, I strongly urge all of you to join Nonfiction November. There's a hashtag for Twitter, and apparently there's a Goodreads group. I have no idea how to join a Goodreads group, but I'm going to give it the old college try and see if I can join this one. I don't know what it would be like, but I think I'd like to try it. And I'm definitely going to do Nonfiction November. Now, they came up with... the purpose of the thing is just to encourage you to read more nonfiction, to read some nonfiction in November. But they also gave it a little structure for those of you who want such a thing. They made up 4 challenges for the month. There's read something new, read something controversial, read something important, and read something fascinating. Nice broad categories designed to maybe put a little bit of form in the endeavor for you. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to do all 4 of those challenges every week in November. And I'm going to show you the books that I'm going to start with, my TBR for that first week. For new, something that we just saw on this channel, it's this. It's the Voynich manuscript, this big new book from Yale about this mysterious book that's in a language that doesn't exist, full of pictures of things that don't exist, by an author that nobody knows about, for a purpose that nobody knows about, and that I knew nothing about. Or if I came across mentions of the Voynich manuscript while I was reading, I certainly didn't, the penny didn't drop that it was itself a mystery. So this is a big new book, and it's apparently, according to the publication material, it's the first full-color reproduction of the thing that's ever been done. I haven't checked to see if that's true, but it means I'll be able to sort of visually experience it while I read about it. So that's great, and that's what I'll do next week, or 2 weeks from now, for my new book. For controversial, it's again something we've seen on this channel. I'm going to reread 23/7 by Karamet Ryder. Her account of the uses to which solitary confinement is put at Pelican Bay, a maximum security prison here in America. Well, one of many. And I read this in Galley and was tremendously impressed. I'm going to read it again to maybe slow down and savor some of the horror stories that are in it, especially the horror story that she doesn't stress as much as she could, which is that this is just one prison, and that America is full of prisons. America is a country of prisons, unlike any other country in the history of the world, including Soviet Russia. America is a country of prisons, and this 24-hour confinement for the slightest infraction or no infraction at all is imposed on prisoners all the time, all throughout America. So I think that's important. So I will be, because this country obviously needs extensive prison reform and criminal law reform. Those things are outside the purview of this book, but I will be rereading this again for my important challenge, or a controversial challenge. And then the next one is important, and that's this. Amitav Ghosh's The Great Derangement. He's a great Indian novelist. I don't think I've ever read a novel of his that I haven't loved, and he also does a lot of nonfiction that I love as well. And this is about, as far as I know, this is about contemporary fiction's response to climate change. It might be a little broader than that. I didn't read it when it first came out in India, and I haven't read. I had a galley of it. I haven't read that either. So I'll be reading this for the first time, and that is my important challenge. And then the last challenge is fascinating, and for that, it's also something we've seen on this channel. It's this. It's Michael Englehart's Ice Bear, which is subtitled "The Cultural History of an Arctic Icon," and the Arctic icon is what you can see on the cover: the 2,000-pound gigantic polar bear that lives all over the Arctic Circle of the planet Earth. I have had this for a while, but I haven't actually read it. I have somewhat extensive history with polar bears, not in books nor in zoos, but in their natural habitat. They're absolutely terrifying. So it will be interesting to see what take this book has on it. It will certainly be fascinating because any natural history of Earth's extravagant megafauna is going to be fascinating, and not just intrinsically, but also in a melancholy way, because those of you who are in your 20s who are watching this video right now are the last generation on Earth who will experience that megafauna. You're the last generation on Earth who will live on this planet when that megafauna exists. By the time you're my age, it will all be gone. No more polar bears, no more elephants, no more gorillas, no more tigers, no more lions, no more sea lions, no more walruses, no more rhinoceros, no nothing. Nothing like that. It will be everyday dun-colored scavenger species, and that's it, and humans, and nothing else. Or maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this book, The Great Derangement, will tell me that I'm wrong about the Anthropocene and the end of extravagant megafauna on Earth. We shall see. But as far as extravagant megafauna goes, it doesn't get much more extravagant in the present age than the polar bear. So this will be my fascinating challenge. And I will report back. Those will be the 4 challenges I will do on the first week of November. And then I'll move on. I'll do these 4 challenges again every week throughout the month. But I would love to hear in the comments from you how much nonfiction you read, whether or not you'd like to read more, and whether or not you might consider joining Nonfiction November. It's a lot of fun, and I'm sure I can speak for Gemma and Olive when I say we'd love to have you. But anyway, let me know what you think, and I'll see you soon, Book 2. Thank you.